poster page, and you can always get it from me if you don't have it now. Now, I would like actually to ask if from Hungary, Flora Vitalis is here, and if she can project her poster, because I have a few questions. Flora?
Good morning, everyone. I am here.
Good morning. So could you please share your screen?
Yes, I will try to share my poster. Just a second. Sorry, just a second.
It was very nice to see your poster. I was surprised at what you did, because we did not ever discuss your work in this direction. And in the meantime, we collaborated so much on totally different stuff like soil pollution or disease detection of plants. And then I saw that you're doing also storage.
Yes, do you see my screen?
Okay. Yes, yes. So my question was, you were interested only in detection of damage, or you wanted to examine the influence of storage?
Actually, both of them. We were interested in how the different storage time makes an effect on the different fruits. We store them in two different ways, in refrigerator and in room temperature storage as well. And we also wanted to monitor that if the plums inoculated with Monilia fructigena fungi could be discriminated, and how this infection spread in the function of time in our little plums as well. And we use these two temperature conditions or environmental conditions. The room temperature, since about around 20 to 22 degrees, it's kind of an optimal spreading environment for this specific fungi. And the refrigerated storage that we want to simulate normal storage conditions that we want to use, and just to see which is so since in big storage houses, usually they store plums between 0 and 3 degrees Celsius. And just wanted to see as well, if we left our fruits in room temperature, how it would be affected by this fungi. It is also important to see or to share that information that this fungi has a specific enzyme. So it doesn't have that specific enzyme that could degrade the salvos of the fruits. So the visible signs of actually the Monilia infections was in those plants which were inoculated via an injury, which was a cut. And actually this, I think this delay or this spoilage could be could be lengthened by the different storage conditions. So actually, if you see the spectrum of the samples stored or the aquagrams of the samples stored in refrigerated conditions, had quite similar patterns. So for me, it was a kind of indication or indicating factor that the spreading could be changed or controlled by the environmental conditions. And of course, I don't know if it was a it was an answer for your question. Or...
Yes. Absolutely. I was wondering just something else. So, because of the things that you said you were interested in exploring, I was wondering, why do you not have this dehydration band that we usually ask 1398? You basically have just free water, not this, and the combination of these two bands, bonded water, 1512, I think you have, and this dehydration band always indicates damage. But please don't answer, don't comment on this. We have a question from Harpreet Kaur to you.
Yes, I also wanted to answer. I don't know if it's the same question what I got from her before.
Yes, I think so.
So if I used a different spectrometer.
Yeah.
Yes. So actually, I use this one since I think I can say that the limiting factor, or a bit limiting factor, was which is always the infrastructure. So we used the available instruments for these measurements, and we also wanted to imitate maybe lifetime measurement conditions. So since if we would go to a storage house or in the field to analyze our fruits concerning their ripeness or concerning their possible illness or infection, we wouldn't use or bring with us a benchtop instrument, if I can say. So that's why we use the handheld spectrometer, and we could modify the structure or the outer covering of this instrument that way that could be appropriate for these measurements, since it was quite important that the fruit surface could meet or interact with the light without any other scattering factors, such as air or not possible fitting on the surface of the probe. So that's why we used that specific device for that. And if we had, of course, other possibilities, I mean, that kind of instruments which work in a larger or different spectral range, of course, I would be interested to conduct such experiments on that.
It would be very nice if Harpreet can develop that model for combining the different regions.
Yes.
If you do that, that would be nice. Someone else? Any questions? Thank you, Flora. This was for me.
Thank you.
Hello, here's Christian. Hello?
Yes, Professor Hook, we're listening.
Yeah, sure. Mostly all the time.
Good morning.
Morning. My question, I found this work highly interesting at first. The application field is extremely broad, and I guess it could be easily expanded to other samples. So my question is, are you able to forecast any injuries on the fruit? This is my first question. And the second is, do you have experiences also with apple as a sample?
Apple?
Yes, apple.
No, actually, we conducted this kind of experiments on plums. But in the near future, actually in this semester, we plan to conduct very similar experiments on sour cherries and cherries as well. Since for us, for example, in our agriculture or in European agriculture, this illness can be very problematic in this kind of stone fruits. That's why we chose this for the subject of our experiments. And we also found that these kind of stone fruits are not very researched yet in this field. So we haven't tried apples, but actually these fungi, what we use for the experiments, could be very infectious for the different apples as well. But we haven't tried apples that. Actually, I also watched or take a look at in different time intervals or different storage time, if the different samples, I mean, if they were injured or controlled or infected, or we try to infect them on intact food surface, and the method actually could discriminate them, even in this first overtone region as well. So we could discriminate them.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's very interesting. Yeah.
Thank you. I hope it was the answer for the question.
Yeah, it's fine for me. So yeah.
Thank you, Flora.
Thank you. Good luck with your work.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just one addition to Christian's question, and it was a very good question. We wondered for a while. We've been working with bacteria, and wanted to predict when this bacteria will cause abnormality, will develop, in what kind of media it will develop abnormally. And we end up with the finding that we can predict in the first measurement. So that is very, very possible what you exactly said, that the fungi, right after the inoculation, you can identify them. So it is worth having many spectra and monitoring naturally occurring fungi as well. And thank you for the work. It is very important. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And actually, from the spectral patterns, even after 1 day or 1 day difference, quite significant. These differences could be identified. So.
Thank you, Flora. Well, since you were mentioning about the plants and that you want to do plants,